Dame i gospodo, uvaženi predstavnici partnera Interreg projekta Italija-Hrvatska, cijenjeni sudionici online konferencije Restarting of the Touristic Sector in the Adriatic Area, pratitelji konferencije. Srdačan pozdrav. Pozdravljam vas u ime Lučke uprave Dubrovnik, organizatora našeg današnjeg druženja i naravno svih partnera. Ja sam Darko Buković, glavni urednik prvog poslovnog internet i podcast radija Poslovni FM i bit ću vaš današnji moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished representatives of the partner of the Interreg project Italy-Croatia, restoring the memory of Adriatic Ports sites. Dear participants of the online conference Restarting of the Touristic Sector in the Adriatic region, dear followers, best regards. I welcome you on behalf of Dubrovnik Port Authority, the organizer of our today's gathering, project leading partner. I'm Darko Buković, editor-in-chief of the first business radio in Europe, and I will be your moderator today. Prije nego krenemo s radom, par tehničkih napomena. Radni jezik konferencije je engleski s prijevodom na talijanski i hrvatski koji se mogu pratiti na posebnim linkovima. Before we get started, a couple of technical notes. The working language of the conference is English with translation into Italian and Croatian, which can be followed on special links. After my few introductory remarks, let's listen introductory greetings of our project partners. Mr. Kristijan Pavić, President of the Board of the Directors, Dubrovnik Port Authority. Kristijan, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with
Floor
you.
Is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to greet you on behalf of Dubrovnik Port Authority. It's real honor and privilege to be here and address you, and I can see some of the friends from the MedCruise I haven't seen during this pandemic, so I'm glad to see you all very well. And you know, it's this pandemic quite influenced quite a lot all of us in all different aspects of tourism and the nautical sector in particular. So I'm looking forward that everything is going to be soon behind us and that we're going to have privilege to meet again alive instead of these online sessions, and we're going to have hopefully very fruitful discussion. And to stay short and wish you a very warm welcome, and hopefully we're going to enjoy. All the best to all.
Ms. Jelka Tepšić, she is a Deputy Mayor of City of Dubrovnik. Jelka, are you with us? Just a few seconds.
Participate in this conference, and we would like also to wish the very successful and fruitful work of this morning's conference. I'm also happy to be able to present what happened during the COVID crisis in Dubrovnik and about the position of Dubrovnik as a major Mediterranean tourism destination, but we will speak about it later on. And I believe this Interreg project will also help to all the ports and cities participating in it to develop new tourism products and to make the future of tourism, let's say, more optimistic, although we cannot influence on the global pandemics or other issues if happen. Fortunately, we hope actually that it will not happen. So I thank you all once again, and we'll speak. I'll meet you again later on, and wish you successful work once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Tepšić. With us is also Guido Vettorel, Head of Unit Development, Promotion, Statistic, Communication and EU Project from Central Adriatic Ports Authority. Mr. Vettorel, are you with us? Just a moment. Few seconds to broadcast. Mr. Vettorel, you are here.
Okay. Good morning to you. Thank you. Thank you to the Dubrovnik Port Authority. Really glad also to see Mr. Pavić, former MedCruise president. I really want to thank him and all the staff of Dubrovnik Port Authority for taking this challenge of organizing the third high-level conference of the Remember project. My greetings also to the Deputy Mayor of the City of Dubrovnik and to all the distinguished keynote speakers and the representative also of Forum of the Adriatic and Ionian Cities from municipality of Igoumenitsa, who will conclude the meeting of today. We are here again after the second high-level conference in November, organized by the Northern Adriatic Ports Authority, so the port of Venice. And we are really on the contemporary issues, because the Remember project is focused on two final stakeholders. One, the local communities of the ports. So I'm really glad that also the city of Dubrovnik is taking part to this important event. And the second one, of course, is the tourism, the tourism sector. As you know, the goal of the Remember project is to set up this network of the cultural ports in the Adriatic. We are now 8 ports, 4 Italian and 4 from Croatia, working on the valorization of the cultural tangible and intangible heritage of our respective ports. We are on the good way to setting up the 8 virtual museums that will be the final outcome of the project by the end of June of the next year. And also we are working a lot. We are cooperating a lot on the issues of how giving added value to all this heritage that we are discovering, revalorizing, and giving a new dimension through the technical assistance of our technical partners, the National Museum of Zadar and the Marche Polytechnic University. We speak about tourism, we speak about local heritage, so local identity. We speak about how to give to these topics a new dimension in the form of virtual museums. And for the very, very first time, we saw it very well from the previous meeting, also with the International Association of Cities and Ports, AIVP. For the very first time, we will have a single platform hosting the 8 virtual museums. So really a tangible example of cross-border cooperation. Tourism, of course, is one of our key topics, with few exceptions, but most of the ports involved, they deal a lot with the passenger traffic, and we know very well that in the Adriatic Sea, well, broadly speaking, in the Adriatic and Ionian macro region, most of the passenger traffic, both from cruise and from ferry and the other type of passengers, are made of tourists. So dealing with this specific sector is a challenge for bodies like the port authorities, because we try to give an added value from the experience of tourists in ports. We try to open a window about these infrastructures that make possible to cross the sea, especially between the Italian and the Croatian port. And nowadays we must also focus on the, I would say again, to use a new an already used way of saying, the new normal brought for maritime passenger traffic brought by the pandemic, which is not over, as we can see also from the recent news on the media. So I think the discussion of today will be really important to get the perception of all the different ports involved. And before launching the video presenting the partnership of the Remember project and the Adrio Cultural Ports Network, let me thank again Dubrovnik Port Authority for the very positive involvement in the project and the success for this conference. Thank you, and you can launch the video, please.
Now we can see video from 2 or 4 seconds. I think it started now. If you have problems with the Italian link, go to English link. It's better for the time being. So that's the technician information in this moment. So after introductory greetings, it's time for our keynote speakers. In the past months during pandemia, the MedCruise has gone through many changes and faces unexpected challenges, as the whole world is. Now it's for everybody ongoing process of renewal. It's time to rearrange, to look for new sustainable and safe ways of doing business. Am I right, Miss Laura Cimaglia from MedCruise? It's a shortly, it's a briefly.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm very happy to be here and honored, and thanks to the Dubrovnik Port Authority, to my former president and friend Kristijan Pavić, but also to the Dubrovnik municipality, who's been collaborating with MedCruise over the past years. Yes, you said it very, very well. It's been hard. We've been working quite a lot. And at the beginning, it was such a shock for us not to be able to meet, but we suddenly turned into virtual meetings almost every week to keep everyone updated. I have a presentation for you because I wanted to show you a few features and data. I will now share it so that everyone can see. Let me see when you see it. Leave. And I will be very brief during the presentation because I want to go to the focus of this meeting. Is it on? Can you please confirm?
Yes, it's here, so you can start.
That's good. Great. So about MedCruise, it's not, I mean, we are here today, but most of the ports involved in the project are MedCruise members and friends, of course. So it's not of me to say how many ports we are. We span across 3 continents, 21 countries and 4 regions, and we have all 140 port members. This is a first feature. In 2019, we had almost 32 million passengers, cruise passengers in the Mediterranean, and we were talking about golden era. We were not expecting, as anyone was, of course, what was going to happen. And you can see the difference between 2019 and 2020, of course, where we had a loss of almost 93.5% in total passengers movement and 90% in total cruise calls. But of course, we were very strong because we were resilient, and the Adriatic and the Mediterranean were the first to start cruising again. These are just features that I will let you have, of course, the presentation. This is an overall view on the quarterly quarter of the year during the 2020. And this is same feature, but of cruise passenger divided into Adriatic, East Med and West Med. And you can see that the West Med, of course, had a very, you know, they grew stronger, and but the Adriatic is just right there. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, the Black Sea was the only cruise region that in the MedCruise members that was worst hit by the pandemic. But we are confident they are giving us news for 2021 and 2022 actually. So we are confident that they will come back very soon. The current situation is this one. As you can see, I mean, the virus is diminishing, if we can see, but we still have problems in some parts of Europe. The variations of the virus are still hitting hard, and currently only 27 cruise ships are running throughout the Mediterranean, while 97 are still currently sheltering into the Mediterranean ports, which were really great during the pandemic because we were really sheltering all the fleet in the Mediterranean. As you know, in the States, they had some problems also with sheltering the vessels were during the layups. We will be monitoring every week the cruise line comeback, and the current situation is quite hopeful, let's say, because almost all the cruise company are back in the business, and they are starting clearly slowly, let's say, with less vessels, but they are restarting every week more than the previous one. We have been collecting data since the breakout of the pandemic, and we were in contact also with CLIA, of course. We will be collaborating with them and getting news from them every week. And another thing we really strongly wanted, we were part of the EU Healthy Gateways joint action into writing the guidelines with the advice for restarting the cruise ship operations. We gave our contribution to the first version and the second version, which just came out on the 30th of April. And we also collaborated with EMSA for the guidance of the gradual and safe resumption of the cruise operations. And the last part was revised in during May 2021. Now, Guido Vettorel, my dear friend, was talking about what we all call now the new normal. The new normal was already last year for us, because we saw ports adjusting to the new protocols, measures, and legislations, and it was a mess, let's say. At the beginning, as a MedCruise observer, we also had a specific group studying these implementation, and it was a mess at the beginning because every country, of course, had their own legislation, and the ports had to deal, and the ships had to deal with different protocols in different ports. So EMSA and the EU guidelines really helped in this. Of course, small ports had a real pressure to implement part of the protocols because they were not ready, let's say, but I have to say that we helped a lot of small ports because we really supported them in this period. Still, we believe that some of the health protocols will still be in place after the pandemic era, when this will be over. As we all know, we're still in the middle of it, and we thought that berth allocation is something we talk to our port members, and we believe that berth allocation is one of the instruments, is one of the means to attract investments and destination issues, because while we funding a very good berth allocation policy will also provide a distribution of people when the ship arrives in a port. I'm talking about, of course, about mostly big ports where they host contemporary, many big vessels. And also, we believe that the cruise bubble, what they call it, the bubble on the excursion, shore excursion, is a temporary solution and should not be implemented in the future when the pandemic is over. But it is a good solution, and we have very good feedbacks from our CLIA colleagues and from the passengers themselves, that they really enjoy cruising again, even during this pandemic time where they have to be in the bubble. This is a map of the cruise lines that are now working, now running in the West Med, Adriatic, and East Med. And you can see that basically all of them have restarted. And we go to the key point of also of this meeting today, sustainability. We always believed that sustainability was one of the main issues in the cruise market. And I'm not only talking about environmental issue, of course. And I've been studying the Remember project, and I think it is a magnificent idea to implement and to work for sustainability. That is because you are understanding through this project how important is that in order to have a sustainable cruise business in place in our ports, we have to collaborate. There is a need of a strategic approach between the society, economy, and the environment. And again, I'm not only talking about environmental, like green ports and everything, but also on social environment. And the dialogues between municipalities and ports and also stakeholders is really, really important. We believe, in fact, that it is important to define the principle and the parameters in every port that must be different from each port to the others when we define a strategy to develop the cruise business. We need, of course, space, but also we need the citizen to access the waterfront and understand what is going on in the port. It is important then to have a balanced port planning and to take into account also different and contradicting potential, like also the citizen needs, the city needs. And it is important to define the form of involvement of stakeholders in the location choice when you have to plan traffic flows or berthing and everything. It is important that the stakeholders work together and cities and ports work together in order to define these essential points. And again, according to EcoPorts, these are the 10 environmental priorities of European ports in 2020. And we can see the air quality, the climate change, energy efficiency, noise, relations with the local community, which I believe is one of the key factors in the future growth of the business. Again, we need to benchmark. We need to see what other ports are doing. We need to see what is the practice in the other ports and try to see what is best for us. And this is what we are trying to do at MedCruise in order to define principles and actions that cannot be a solution for everyone, of course, but must be studied for each port, and that is why we need the help of the local communities to do that, and local institutions, of course. So, as I was saying before, I will be very brief, and I hope I gave you some feature. I just wanted to tell you how I appreciated to be here today, again, because I think that this project gives you the idea of what is really important for us. I made the presentation, I will have to say, before reading in detail what the Remember project was aiming to. And as you can see, we're talking about the same language. It is important that local communities appreciate what the port is there for. And I think that the Remember project is also aiming, to building this museums, this let's say online museums. It's very important because people in our ports, most likely the citizens don't know what is the port activity, and they don't know how important it is to be for the culture of the cities, but also for the economy that can be deriving from the port. So it is very, very important that they know their heritage, in order to understand how to cooperate to have a sustainable future in every field, not only for the cruise sector, but as you were saying, in the tourism in general. I think we can be really, really strong if we work together with the local institution and the local communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cimaglia. And I have one question for you.
Yes.
During my preparation for the conference, I review one great sentence which you author. It says, "Pandemic taught us that we can be closer even if we are apart." That's
Yes.
a great sentence.
Thank you, but it was what we did. At the beginning, as we said, all of us, we were shocked. We didn't know how to start communicating again. And but we were stronger afterwards. We met more times during last year than we did in the previous year, because we really wanted to stay close to our members, and we really thought what we can do for them. And I think it is also an occasion for thinking what can be sustainable in the new normal. And as I was underlining before, it's not only a matter of environment, it's also a matter of social environment. And this fact of the that you cannot be together in the same place, so many people, I think will teach us something on how to deal in the future building of the business, when you have to start a cruise business in a port, or you have to manage in the case of the many ports that are now working together in the Remember port. So yes, it was also an opportunity.
This is a good way of digitalization of the business.
Yes,
of
yes,
course.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cimaglia. Stay with us during the conference.
You're welcome, of course.
And we go on. Authenticity and individuality will be especially expressed in the creation of a new offer in which the heritage and tradition of particular region will be presented in open spaces and landscapes that have yet to be revealed to tourists. Personal distance is also a new normality in tourism and the consequence of the fear of infection, and the only cure for fear is a sense of security. Am I right, Ms. Klarić?
Yes, you are quite right. You have said it in a very short and concise way with a great precision. Thank you very much for this introduction. I'm really glad to be. Thank you very much. I am glad that you have invited us as the EUSAIR and TSG4, the thematic steering group for sustainable tourism. I'm trying to put on my presentation. Can you see it? Is it working?
It's here.
Do we hear each other? Do we hear each other?
Yes. Everything is okay.
Do we see each other? I do not see you anymore, but I'm hoping to be
just 1, 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay.
For the technician that put on broadcast.
Thank you. So, as I have said, it is a great honor to be here with you and to actually express my warm greetings to the organizers and also to all the participants. I shall speak about this topic from the point of view of EUSAIR, and I shall try actually to...
Ms. Klarić, sorry.
Yes?
Put your presentation on. It's okay. Everything is okay. You can start.
Yes. Do you see it?
Okay.
Yeah, it's working? Yes, okay. So I see only part of it. So I shall try to manage it as far as I can. Can you see the presentation? Yes? Hello?
Start now.
I'm not hearing you. I can start. Give control. I need to take control or what? How do I move the presentation? Sorry, I cannot move it on. I do not have
Put the F5.
F5, okay. So I'm trying, but it's still not moving. Oh, nothing's going on. I'm trying to put
We
on
will try
5F.
again from here.
Okay. Put on.
So it's here.
Aha. Let me see. Just a second.
And now it's a full screen.
It's a full screen, but I do not see you. Very well. Okay, I see you. Very well. So I can continue now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So as I have said, I shall be speaking about 4 topics, and that is EUSAIR, EU strategy for Adriatic and Ionian region, and the TSG4 sustainable tourism priorities, about the challenges we are facing, about the strategic project ideas and TSG4 flagships we have chosen, and the future perspectives. As you all probably already know, the EU macro-region strategy was adopted by the European Commission in 2014, and it covers today 9 countries: Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Greece, Italy, Montenegro, Serbia, Slovenia, and North Macedonia. And we are hoping for San Marino to join us in the autumn. The general objective was actually to promote economic and social prosperity and growth in the region by improving its attractiveness and competitiveness and connectivity. The countries actually aim to create synergies and foster coordination among all territories of the EUSAIR region. And there are 4 thematic pillars dealing with specific objectives through which the work of EUSAIR participating countries is organized. So it is the blue growth, connecting the region, environmental quality, and sustainable tourism. These EUSAIR aims are actually implemented through Facility Point project, in which I am a thematic expert. The pillars, as we have said, have their coordinators, each of them 2 countries. So for blue growth, we have Greece and Montenegro; for connectivity, Italy and Serbia; and for environmental quality, Slovenia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sustainable tourism is coordinated by Croatia and Albania. So in 2017, the report was done on the EUSAIR national tourism strategies, and 6 top priorities were identified. And today we speak about these 6 priorities, which are actually defining the selection of projects for the future. They all take part around 2 main topics: sustainable and responsible tourism management, lacking in the region, and diversified tourism offer to enhance the competitiveness of the region. So speaking about the management, we can say that training is essential, as well as deseasonalization actions and networking of sustainable tourism businesses. On the other hand side, when we speak about diversified tourism offer, this is where we are very much in line with the Remember project, because it deals with fostering Ionian and Adriatic and Ionian cultural heritage. It deals with sustainable and thematic tourist routes, and also it deals with research and development platform on new products and services. Of course, in EUSAIR, we are dealing with sustainable tourism in all 4 aspects: in cultural sustainability, social sustainability, environmental and economic sustainability. Why is that so? Because of the imbalance which has been detected in the region and the need for harmonization. So imbalance, which we were talking about before COVID-19, was imbalance in arrivals, imbalance in carrying capacities, imbalance in receipts in EUSAIR countries, and imbalance in jobs or in employment. So the area where we find our work to be done are the 3 key areas of harmonization: the economic harmonization, social, environmental, and cultural visibility. This all is confirmed that has to be done also through the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index, where we can see that the scores for various countries are very much not in line and have to be harmonized. So the challenges we have been facing, and which we are talking about, and which projects which we are selecting should solve, are actually the less developed regions, demography declining in certain micro-regions, unknown and virgin destinations, lack of cultural tourism management, lack of marketing, lack of visibility, And quite recently, as we have all felt it very seriously, is the crisis management, in example for COVID-19. So this very serious challenge has tackled and has a great effect on mostly on tourism and culture. And so the macro-regional specific recommendation for rebooting tourism were detected by the expert who was engaged by the European Commission and who detected the strong recommendation needs for rebooting tourism in the area. Speaking about certain areas where it is necessary and important, such as, for example, protecting the health of travelers, saving jobs, working in cooperation, gathering and sharing travel intelligences, and coalition in answering new consumers' sensibility and very specific needs. So the answer was, of course, how shall we do it? And the answer should have been given through the TSG for flagship project ideas. So in line with our priorities, 7 specific flagships were chosen. So for thematic routes, sustainable thematic routes, we have the project idea of air culture routes with the development of culture routes. Within the priority of fostering Adriatic and Ionian cultural heritage, 2 projects were selected, and that is Living the Sea with digitalization of boating and fishing traditions, intangible and tangible heritage of the ports and the cities around not only the seas but also the rivers. Culture Air as the project which was selected, project idea which was selected in the area of research and development with a survey of cultural tourism demand in Adriatic and Ionian region to see how our visitors are responding to intangible and tangible attractions which we have here on disposal. Then development of sustainable tourism businesses is answered by the project idea called Green Mapping or Travel Green through Adriatic and Ionian region. And one project which was selected, Cruise Air, deals specifically with the cruising and the ports and the sustainable destination management plans which should be prepared through it in cruise destinations. And finally, 2 projects which were selected deal with destination management. One with the education for destination management, integrated sustainable destination management, and the other with the tools for the smart management of destinations. Well, I think we have got some problem with the destination. I don't know, do you see the presentation well, or do you have the problem with the presentation? Do you hear me?
Yes, that we have a problem.
You have a problem, so you cannot see it actually. Well,
we don't see the text correctly.
Yeah, you cannot see the text, so we shall
skip. Skip, yes.
Yeah, we have skipped those slides. I will send them to you with the text which is functioning. Unfortunately, something has got
But you can tell us, Ms. Klarić, yes, you can tell us what's on that slides.
Of course, I can tell you what is on that slide. So when we speak about green mapping, then we can see green mapping is the project which is dealing and which has to have impact on the measure and improvement of small and micro and medium-sized enterprises, their sustainability, competitiveness, and giving them visibility and market uptake. So it should actually include all 9 countries, or further in the future, it should include all 10 countries, which will be part of EUSAIR, giving them better visibility and better connectivity through the platform where they are working all together for better competitiveness. The next project, the Culture Air, is actually should respond to the macro-regional challenge of diversified and unharmonized methodological surveys which are today being done for cultural tourism and for the cultural institutions. It should track the profile of visitors to cultural attractions in Adriatic and Ionian region, and overall by countries and by the museums and the cultural institutions themselves. It should also provide insight into the visitors' behavior and satisfaction with air culture cultural tourism, giving them actually a way and a receipt how to provide increased quality in creating cultural tourism product, with the impact of better marketing and planning and improvement of promotional activities for the cultural tourism of air. EUSAIR is dealing with the education and the lifelong learning education and master programs for destination management, strengthening competitiveness of EUSAIR countries, the quality of integrated sustainable tourism management, and providing increased number of highly educated employees and entrepreneurs in the field of tourism. As I have already said, KRUZE has a very specific role. The project idea, when it is going to be implemented as a project, should actually provide destination management plans that are equivalent to strategic and action plans for sustainable tourism in cruise destinations, not only around the sea, but also around rivers and lakes. And finally, air culture routes should actually provide in the future harmonized distribution of tourism flows through macro-regional territories, providing regional connectivity of locally micromanaged cultural routes and the synergies between creative and cultural industries and hospitality center and sustainable tourism valorization of coastal and underwater cultural heritage. And finally, one of the projects which was actually proposed by Dubrovnik itself should give us an impact on the higher quality and more diversified, resilient tourism products, experiences, and jobs, improved jobs and satisfaction of citizens, taking into account multiple intelligence systems. So these projects, which are at this moment only project ideas which are to be developed to bankable projects, we are hoping that they will actually answer the global trends which we are meeting today. So I will mention just a few of them which were detected by the Euromonitor and which warn us that we have to change. And sustainability actually of a destination means managing changes, because we are staying sustainable as long as we are able to manage changes. And this is what those projects, when they will be implemented in the next multi-annual financial framework, will provide. They will provide actually a new knowledge about integrated sustainable destination management and crisis management, and they will focus on cooperation in the Adriatic and Ionian region. So they will also provide better knowledge of the remote Europe, or the lesser known Europe. They will be there for the stronger competitiveness of some small and micro regions of the EUSAIR countries, and they will be there to implement the hybrid knowledge in tourism for sustainable and small, medium-sized and micro enterprises. They will be there also to point out towards the authentic and true Europe through smart specialization with a holistic approach to those small destinations. And they will also be there to recognize and to point towards new sensibility of our visitors, future visitors, who are looking not only for attractions anymore, for hedonism, but also for mental well-being, for transformative experiences, and for interaction. They will be there also for the space-hungry people, which we are today recognizing, looking for outdoor experiences which will provide safety, but which will also provide new workplaces in new spaces, and which will provide the possibility to be used through the time they have at disposal. One thing which we find here very interesting is actually that during this last period, still we have the steady fascination with cities. So here we can see the ETC results of the research of the holidays, which are detected for the lovers of sun and beach, for the lovers of cities, for the gastronomy lovers. And we can still see that cities are most likely to be traveled to in the next 6 months. So what we can say is we still do have markets which are interested in the cities, markets which are interested in traveling, and markets which are looking for very sophisticated destinations, which will include as well heritage activities, accessibility, interpretation, art and creativity, and thematic hospitality. So what we can see is that our future projects will have to be oriented towards new product development, towards smart specialization, towards spiritual slow tourism, towards sustainable and responsible and creative and culinary tourism. And in this sense, we hope that these chosen TSG4 flagships will answer to the needs which we have today, both in the area of destination management as well as in the area of diversification. So we hope that these projects will actually provide the safety and security for the travelers, that they will respect the visitors' habits and the travel modes, that they will look towards the new product development and towards sustainable micro-destinations and towards the authentic and unique resources in culture, nature, which EUSAIR has. So we always have to have in mind the audiences, and we know that the values are changing. So from the mega to micro, our visitors are looking for micro worlds, for micro groups, for micro packages. They are looking for local, outdoor, authentic, transformative, safe, touchless, and what they are looking is to get lost, actually to find themselves. They are looking for meaningful travel, and we are looking towards the new era of humanization in tourism. We are looking for the change, and we are hoping that these projects, which were selected by Tourism Sustainable Group 4, will actually give the answer to. Thank you very much. So this would be all from my side. I do hope that I have provoked some inspiration in with our participants, and that we shall be able to provide the implementation of these future projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Klarić, for your presentation and remarks about future, because everybody must change. We must change ourselves, tourism must change, and we must answer the question, what's the normal or what's the new normal in tourism? So that will be the focus of our roundtable, which we will have in few seconds. I ask Ms. Jelka Tepšić, Deputy Mayor of City of Dubrovnik, to join us for the first presentation as an introductory to the panel, Rebranding the Future of Tourism in the Adriatic Area. Ms. Tepšić, you are with us.
I am with you. Thank you very much. I just put on my...
Are you prepared to tell us what is Dubrovnik tourism pre, now, and the post-COVID? Because nobody knows that post-COVID era started.
Well, we don't know if still post-COVID era started. I would like to share a short presentation with you, which we prepared. I'm now opening my
Before that,
Ms.
Tepšić, can I ask Ms. Klarić to put down their presentation that we can run yours?
Okay.
Ms. Klarić.
Here is mine. Here it is. Can you see it?
Okay. Now it's on the screen, so you can go on.
Is it on the screen? Great. Thank you very much. So, greetings to all again, and I must repeat that we are really happy to be able to share some information and some new knowledge with all the participants of this conference this morning. And also, I would like to start with the presentation. I'm sorry, what you are hearing is my colleague from the PR department entering, so please forgive us. First of all, this is Dubrovnik. There are some historic and general facts about our city. So we like to say that history is alive in every part of Dubrovnik as a museum city and at the same time a live stage. It represents a perfect cross between the past and the present. Dubrovnik is part of UNESCO World Heritage since 1979. That makes our city second in Europe after Krakow to be protected by UNESCO. It has its nickname, which is the Pearl of Adriatic, and also the famous Irish poet says those who are seeking paradise on earth should come and visit Dubrovnik. That was Bernard Shaw. Maybe that's one of the reasons why UK market is top #1 in Dubrovnik. So back in 2019, we have regarding tourism, not the cruise tourism, but the tourists spending their holidays in Dubrovnik, we had 1,443,971 in arrivals, and it was 30% more than 2018. What happened in 2020, you already know. It was year of the pandemics, and it was the year in which Dubrovnik suffered the most comparing to other Croatian regions and destinations. Since our geographic location is very specific, we are on the very south on the Croatian coast, and also we are almost 100% flying destination, meaning that the majority of our tourists are coming by planes. Regarding the cruise tourism, there it was not cruising at all.
Mr. Tepšić, sorry for. Can you move on the right that we can see you, because you're half of so this is good, and
yeah.
The presentation is frozen. Can you start it again?
No, I'm
because we just have one first page is always on it.
Sorry?
Can we do that again?
I just can close it, and here I am on my second slide. Can you hear it? Can you see it?
No?
No. Sorry. I'll do it again then. Okay.
Now we can, we see?
Now you can see.
Put the F5.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, but put F5 to have a full screen.
I'm on my full screen on my computer.
It's not on us.
Okay, we'll
but
try
I will see
again.
now with the technician. Can we
again.
put that as we can see now?
Is it okay now?
Now it's okay.
Okay, then can you see the second slide? This is my first slide with the title.
And it's okay. You can go on.
Okay, great.
You can go on. Thank you.
I already spoke about this data. You can see it on the screen. I didn't mention the cruise tourism. I started to explain that the cruising was not present last year in Dubrovnik, and this year we do have 3 to 4 calls per week, and it gives us a huge optimism for the next months to come, because in total we have announced like 150 cruise calls in 2020. At the moment there are 15,000 tourists visiting Dubrovnik, which is 52% comparing to 2019. But still we are very happy with that figure, meaning that we are back, let's say. So just a little bit more about Dubrovnik as the ex-Ragusa, Dubrovnik Ragusa. The Ragusa was an ancient name of our republic, very known among Italians actually. And the republic has very long and impressive history. It was independent from the 14th till the 19th century. When the French entered the city, and then it was the end of the independence of the city of Dubrovnik. This year, again, we are connected with more than 60 different destinations in Europe, and also we are very proud to say that we do have 2 direct flights from USA, meaning we have 8 times a week direct flying connection from Dubrovnik to New York or New York to Dubrovnik. When we go 4 years back, it was 2017 when these photos were actually present in all the major media around the world. So in 2018, the city was third on the list of destinations to avoid. And like the Telegraph or CNN, they declared Death of Dubrovnik because of the crowds and cruise ships, which, as they wrote, ruined the city, and also it was acclaimed by locals. I must say that there were never such big, I can say, problems with locals. They were unhappy, but they didn't protest in a way that they were making any public protests or whatever. So what we did first is that our mayor started to communicate with CLIA. You know that CLIA is a major association of cruise companies. And we signed the memorandum of understanding, and we went through the global Sustainable Tourism Council assessment back late in 2019, which was actually part of our cooperation with CLIA. And we achieved 70% of excellence due to the cooperation between the GSTC, which consulted more than 70 stakeholders within the destination. And it was a huge success for us because due to the situation we actually had, and overcrowding and the very bad image of the city, we were happy that we were able to got such a high level of excellence. It's also a great obligation for us because we are now in the process of a self-assessment to find out when we are standing comparing to GSTC criteria. And we, of course, are very willing to move forward with all the activities which are leading us to the sustainability of tourism. So when the crisis happened, or even before, when we started to deal with problems as a local government, we found out that we have to turn the problem into the opportunity. So as we are having a lot of bitter or angry oranges around here in the Dubrovnik gardens, we decided to make a marmalade. So that's what's happening with the bitter orange. People are making a marmalade. So we actually said to ourselves that sustainable travel is an opportunity for all, for locals, for people, for communities, small businesses, civil society, large corporations, etc. So we believe that it's a local value chain. Our Respect the City program was divided into 3 groups of activities. The first group of activity was actually very simple, short-term measures, projects, etc., which we started with immediately in 2017 and 2018. It was mostly dealing with better organization of traffic, both car traffic and pedestrian traffic, and also other small activities which helped a lot to avoid crowds. Specifically in the city entrances. Dubrovnik, as it is very narrow. It has narrow streets. Our city entrances are very narrow, so that's the reason why those photos were actually traveling around the world, provoking people to react, and also giving them a very non-pleasant experience based on what they see. And you can imagine how tourists in Dubrovnik could feel finding himself in that kind of situation. So we managed to avoid it, but just a very simple activity, putting a rope which divides the direction of pedestrians in 2 ways, entering and going out, and that helped a lot actually. So we managed to avoid those photos to happen ever again. Then we had some midterm activities which were based on sustainable urban mobility plans and urban development studies. We are developing a new project which is Dubrovnik electric boat trams and integrated eco-transport solutions. So we are developing projects for further development of sustainable tourism through education, RDI, and marketing. And we are focusing a lot on smart destination, mobility, and visitor management integrated solutions. Long-term projects, we have here the year 2020, but you must know that 2020 was kind of a, not pause year, but to be honest, everything stopped, as everything's almost stopped globally. But we still are working on developing the project of new seafront cruise, which is a new urban revitalization of our neighborhood where the cruise port is located. We are also developing new attractions. So the program consists of some revitalization of Dubrovnik summer residences, Pustjerna, which is archaeological site with the building of new archaeological museum, park and dry system, park and sale system of public and publicly owned garages. So new roads, tunnels, city entrances, and main crossroads investments are in the process of preparation for the new perspective of 21 to 27 for EU funds. When we were speaking about developing sustainable tourism, we relied a lot on different EU funds and programs. But also greatly on smart city projects. We have to stress that Dubrovnik is the first Croatian city to have a smart city strategy. And we are also recognized not only in Croatia, but in the region for our different smart city solutions, which is, for example, Dubrovnik visitors, 6 cameras put on the 6 entrances of the old zone, counting the number of people which are at this very moment and in real time in Dubrovnik. And connected to that, we have the prediction formula, which is a calendar and a graphic design showing how many people are supposed to be on a certain date in the old city. So it's kind of a successful tool, which we are using actually a lot to collect data, and we also believe that our visitors can use it just to plan their stay in Dubrovnik or their one-day excursion in Dubrovnik. So we do have free Wi-Fi in public transport. We have a project which is called Alter Echo, actually giving in real time information to visitors who are using the Dubrovnik card application, what are other locations to visit. They are not in the very center of the city. That's the way of dispersion of tourists. Also, we signed a special strategy, which is Plastic Smart City of Dubrovnik, which is also which makes us one of the city unique in Croatia by accepting that new strategy. We also, due to the pandemics, have to react quickly, so we do have real-time epidemiological data for our city, and also not the city center, but all the zone, which is under the governance of this local authority. We do have a Crosstalk project, which is a pilot project of our Ministry of Tourism and Sports at Institute of Tourism, Croatian Institute of Tourism, which is also based on the criteria of sustainability. And if we are speaking of our future, we will show some slides which shows how the way we are looking further. So to repeat again, the Dubrovnik Smart City key areas of activities were mobility and infrastructure, so dealing with transportation, parking and infrastructure, quality of life, waste and water management, urban development and landscaping, environmental protection, youth and sport, social care, education and civil protection, economic development, employment and economic development, entrepreneurship and innovation, tourism and culture, and management and institutions, so citizen services, economic and financial management, and ICT, internal functions support. So when we speak about COVID data, you can see that on the website of the City of Dubrovnik, which is dubrovnik.hr, you can find real-time information about the number of COVID ill people in the city. It was also, at the moment, the figure is very low as well. We provided this information to be timely and reliable, also for citizens, but for all the visitors at the same time. So the city of Dubrovnik invested a lot and helped a lot to our Dubrovnik General Hospital, providing healthcare to also, as you know, to all our citizens, but also to visitors. We have banners around, we have all kinds of epidemiological safe measures on to assure our visitors that Dubrovnik is a safe destination. And the big proof for that is that our first quarantine in Dubrovnik Republic, Lazaretto, was actually put together back in 1377, which makes the city of Dubrovnik the first ever to have an organized quarantine in the 14th century. And the first building used as a quarantine was built in 16th century. So based on that, we produced last year a short animated film in which the main role is played by a knight Orlando, saying that Dubrovnik is a safe destination, and then that we knew then, and we know now that our famous knight is presenting to viewers the historical story of the beginnings of the quarantine in Dubrovnik, and also showing in a very specific way the best of Dubrovnik cultural and historical sites. So for the post-COVID era, so as I told you, we are actually treating the crisis as a new opportunity, and we are moving forward with all our Respect the City programs. We are trying to maintain all the necessary health protocols and measures. We are working on dispersion of visitors to decrease pressure on the historic city. The center, at the same time, to put together or to give the new valorization of less known cultural and heritage sites. And of course, we are trying to increase the duration of the season, which will be, of course, this year affected by the situation with the epidemic. Speaking about cruise tourism, it was particularly affected by the corona crisis. We know that all of us very well. And just now there is a big cruise ship in Dubrovnik Harbor, and we do have 3 or 4 calls per week. So we believe that we will have up to 150 calls this year, and for 2022, as we develop the berthing policy together with the Port Authority, and I must stress that we do have excellent cooperation with the Port Authority of Dubrovnik, and we are actually working together on better organization of cruise calls. So we will not stop to do that, because what we started with CLIA when we firstly starting to cooperate with this association is putting together the rule that there are not more than 2 cruise ships per 1 part of the day allowed in Dubrovnik, meaning that is 4,000 visitors at the same time. So we are still moving forward with all those rules, trying to have cruise calls which are with longer duration, longer than 6 hours, because ships staying in Dubrovnik for 6 hours only are actually representing the huge invasion of our roads and traffic infrastructure. And it's one of the goals we are aiming to achieve in 2022. One more important point, speaking of cruise tourism, that is that this year we started with the cruise tax, which was adopted by Croatian Assembly back in 2019, but it was initiated by the City of Dubrovnik and the Port Authorities of Dubrovnik, because we believe that the city itself has to have some financial income out of cruise industry, not only to small businesses, to port agents, to travel agents in the city, but also to the local authorities, since as you know, and all of you are also having probably the same issues, the bad influence on the infrastructure is very present, so that income which will come from cruise tax will be strictly used for the infrastructure of the city of Dubrovnik, which will also help the city budget and the local government to develop new projects and to improve the overall infrastructure in the city. So looking further, when we are speaking about our future, we stress the urban development as a goal which we will hopefully achieve throughout the European funding. So we do have new plans for polycentric urban development, new city and mobility center, Seafront Cluj, where our big cruise port is located. We are continuing to cooperate with CLIA, and I must say that our mayor also did a very strong effort to help the recovery of cruise tourism this year in Croatia. We will have quality over quantity in mind in years to come, and we believe for the long term that urban development, new roads and new tunnel investments also will help to improve the quality of life of our citizens, but also the quality of experience for all tourists. So our basic investor, let's say, that way will be hopefully EU funds. So if we are speaking about specific projects for the future and taking into consideration that Dubrovnik is very narrow and has very problematic roads and lack of parkings, we are planning to build a big park and ride system on Pobrežje, which is a neighborhood a little bit outside of the city center, but that will give the possibility to all our visitors, both organized groups by buses or individual visitors by cars, to use public transportation from this parking lot to come to the center of the city. That way we will avoid crowds on the roads in Dubrovnik. So that also will help us to put together the planned restriction for car access to the boundaries of the contact zone of the historic core, which is also one of the strategic goals of our Respect the City project. Thank you for your attention. I hope I managed to give a short description of the few important facts and figures and projects we are developing, and also an overview of the past 4 years and what were the biggest challenges this local government were facing at the same beginning of our period of taking responsibility for the city of Dubrovnik. Of course, I'm at your disposal for any possible questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Tepšić. Stay with us, and you are in the panel if you will have some questions, and you join us.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, time is running, and we will skip to Mr. Kristijan Pavić, Chairman of the Board of the ACI Marinas, and he will talk about nautical sector, what are the trends and how COVID influenced on that kind of tourism industry in the region and all, of course, all in the world. Mr. Pavić, you are with us?
When it comes to the nautical tourism, it's a little bit different than different aspects of the tourism. We are a little bit more resilient when it comes to the possibility to catch up the COVID as the virus. So the people are isolated, they can sail around, visit marina, etc., etc. So they are basically enjoying in a safe environment, and it's quite easy for them to enjoy. On the other hand, we are quite dependent on the pandemic situation, or how the we are or green, yellow, or the red one. So it's not about the nautical tourism. It's about general situation in the countries. So, we are the biggest chain of the marinas in the Med. We have 38 years of experience. So within these 38 years, we faced quite a lot of challenges. And I would say that adaptability on this situation through our history is something that's followed us through our past. We had a war where we had quite a lot of marinas destroyed. Now we have this pandemic, which is influenced us in different way, but still we need to find a way how to manage the situation. When we are talking about pre-COVID situation, 2019 was our record year. Everything was nice and shiny. We had record numbers. The income was steady. But on the other hand, we started to think about sustainability. We heard about from Ms. Tepšić earlier on about the sustainability. It's not just about sustainability in destination. I would say that we need to discuss about sustainability as well in general in all the aspects of the tourism, in nautical as well. It's not just that yachting and charter is it's cruising as well. So our response to the COVID situation was to reduce the investment, because that's the only thing when it comes to the cash flow that you can save the company, save the income of the people. You need to reduce the investments. On the other hand, you need to think about the future and how to keep the marinas ready for the situation. In discussion with our employees, we supported them to go through vaccination, and I'm proud to say that more than 70% of the ATSI employees responded to the vaccination and vaccinated themselves. So that was our looking for the word, sorry, our support to this situation. And the upcoming situation, it's not looking bright. People are here, people are enjoying our sea. I'm just looking here from the office in the Port Authority, not one of our marinas, but one of the nautical marinas in Dubrovnik. It's having some boats. Numbers are growing from day to day, but still we are waiting to see what's gonna happen. As was mentioned earlier, this pandemic situation is also the opportunity, because nowadays we can see the trends of the mega and super yachts in Croatia that are growing. So we are using this situation to put Croatia on the map on the mega and super yacht markets. We have quite a dense coastline with a lot of islands, reefs, where you can hide yourself, where you can enjoy your stay in at the boat and enjoy some restaurants, some nice protected shelters, be by yourself. And there is no such high numbers on the tourism in general. So the people on this kind of clients are coming to Croatia. We became quite popular. On the other hand, we've had quite good response from the administration, allowing all these people and allowing the citizen and crew from the yachts to be vaccinated in Croatia in these days. Of course, we are following the agenda of Europe. We are preparing our marinas to be green, to invest in the ecology, because the sea is something that we live on and from on. And looking forward for new investment. Maybe you know, but maybe you don't, that ATSI together with Lursen is won a tender of a new marina in Rijeka. So this marina will be placed on the market as the mega and super yacht marina, as well as the charter. marinas. So the numbers today are quite good. We are looking forward on a bright situation and good numbers in upcoming days and months, and we are looking forward that this season will last. That's the only thing I can say. We are adapting ourselves on a daily basis. We are trying to find the best answer to this situation. Like I said, we did everything that was on our side. We are ready. We are waiting all these passengers, nautical people that will come in Croatia or are in Croatia. But, you know, in general, we depend on the pandemic situation in Europe, and hopefully it's not going to be another spread, another fourth wave that people are talking about. And if we're gonna manage to overcome that situation, we will be quite happy with it. So that's shortly from my side. I mean, I can talk about for days about the nautical situation and segments in Croatia, but I think it's enough for the time being. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Last year numbers said that we are 0.4% more than the year before. That's a good data.
When it comes to our numbers in ATSI, we are somewhere in between 2019 and 2020, depends on the segment that you are talking about, because in marinas you have the annual berth, which are steady through all these years. Even last and this year we didn't suffer from the pandemic. On the other hand, as a chain of the marinas, and 4 of those marinas are seasonal marinas only, meaning they don't have annual berths. We are quite influenced with the transit calls. So if the pandemic situation it's not good or the charter boats are not coming, we are influenced by that. So our numbers when it comes to transit are somewhere in between 2020 and 2019, so they are quite good and steady, and we see the growths in coming days, and I just can hope that will stay like this.
We hope so, yes. After these introductory speeches, other panelists are free to join us to comment or share their thoughts. With us will be Guido Vettorel from Central Adriatic Port Authority, Cristina Laptala from Dubrovnik Port Authority, Francesco Magnoli, Port of Ravenna Authority, Anna Matulic, Split Port Authority, Alberto Cozzi from Port Network Authority of the Eastern Adriatic Sea, and Johnny Stambuk from Zadar Port Authority. I would ask panelists to put camera on, microphone off, and we can go with our panel in a few seconds. We can go with one question, which is for all of our panelists. What words rebranding tourism mean for you? Who will be the first? Ladies? Cristina?
Okay, me as a host of the conference, I would like also to thank all the participants on very detailed presentations. From the Dubrovnik Port Authority, you said about the rebranding. Well, we as a Port Authority, actually, we are going to do our best to follow all the inputs that we are receiving from, of course, the government and from the city, because we are those that actually should do our best and to implement all the procedures that are requested from our side. About the rebranding, we are, I think, as a Port Authority, we are not the one that we are more like operative part of the tourism, but I think that the city and the tourist board, they will have something better to say about the rebranding. But I also would like to say something about the cruises in our port. As Ms. Jelka, she told the exact numbers of the cruise vessels and the passengers, but the important thing is that our reservations for 2022 are on 70% of the 2019. So from Dubrovnik Port Authority, we are hoping that this pandemic will end, or at least that we will find out how to deal with it, to keep these reservations and numbers as they are presented right now for the future. So that is from my side.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Matulić.
Hello to everyone. Well, from the points of Split Port, we agree with Kristina also. Port Authority is one of the stakeholders within the port, and it's a more operational stakeholder than the one who can decide about rebranding. And it is the main thing that should be done, and with the city and tourist board also. As post-pandemic situation in the Split Port, we are also following the procedures and inputs that are put to follow, and we are now for the traffic. We now have 50% high traffic than the last year. So last year was the zero. We are starting again from the beginning, as I can say, but the international traffic and domestic traffic are like in 2000, on the beginning of 2000, year of 2000. And we are hoping that this new procedures about COVID situation will be better for the traffic, and we are now also have a good situation and good forecast for 2002. So
thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Vettorel, the same question, but not in a sense of technical meaning. I want to ask everyone what means, from your point of view, rebranding the tourism. COVID will pass, of course, I hope so soon, but how to plan anything in these unstable times?
Okay, thank you for the question. In my opinion, I would use the words that I got both from the Deputy Mayor of the City of Dubrovnik and from Laura Cimaglia. It was quite nice to see the word proactivity in both their presentation. I think rebranding is basically a matter of proactivity, so of thinking again how to make how to open a new way for tourism from the point of view, of course, of the Port Authority, meaning we are part of the tourist strategy of a territory or of a country, but we are not for sure the main player. We are the gateway for the arrival and the departure of tourists. So to give you the example of the port of Ancona, the port of Ancona is mainly a passenger port. So our tourists are made mainly of a passenger embarking and disembarking to ferries. Now we have a restart. For instance, with the port of Split, we are starting now also the relation with Zadar again after the last year, and the numbers are growing compared to 2020, of course, but are still very low compared to 2019. So that's why we speak about a new normal, because also for the companies, probably on the long run, it won't be sustainable to have the services as it was in the past. So we should refocus together, I would say, for thinking to the port cluster for ferry, for instance, for international ferry. So both ports and the shipping lines on how to propose the experience of crossing the sea, reaching different destinations. So thinking, for instance, the ferry sector not only as a way of transport, as it was probably until now, but part of the holiday. And we already made with an Italian well-known firm, we already made 2 years ago an analysis on the quality of tourism. So we must pass from numbers to the quality and the specific, the capacity to attract our customer on the basis of a specific experience. This would be for sure another value. Back to the cruise traffic, for instance, we saw from the slides of Mrs. Cimaglia of Laura, we are now in really in a new situation. We have the cruise ship calling the ports, but and then we have a passenger going through going in our territory, but in this bubble. So basically, they are kept away from the contact with the territory, meaning of a small shop, of the bar to take a coffee, to spend some time to breathe the atmosphere of the town and get the real experience
yes,
on the town. So after the bubble, what will be the opportunity? So for sure, the capacity to provide a safe and healthy environment in the town and provide services to reassure also passenger will be an added value, not only so for the nautical sector, but also for the tourism, for the passenger sector. And again, I will finish. And again, the rebranding, the rethinking, must be based on the 3P principle, the one expressed by Laura. The business strategy proposed by Elkington of the triple bottom line. So people, profit, and planet. So the real progress, the sustainable and competitive advantage that we can get in tourism as in other sectors of the business is based on the capacity of keeping the equilibrium and make a progress both in the three sectors. So to keep the environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and of course economic sustainability. So also the public support, for instance, to the tourist sector must be thought also in this way, in my opinion.
Thank you. Mr. Cozzi, the same question and your points of view.
Yes, good morning. I agree with Guido. Ports are gates. It also comes from the etymology of the word. Port is the same word of porta in Italian as door. Yet, this is also why ports are important, because tourists coming from the sea transit through the port. This means that the cooperation between the port authority and the region and the municipality and the tourist board has to be very strong. It is true that we are not the main stakeholder. We are not the main stakeholder of the tourism in our city, but still the strong cooperation with the local policymakers is essential. For instance, we developed jointly with the municipality of Trieste a low carbon action plan for cruisers arriving in the port of Trieste a few years ago with an Interreg Med project called Locations. This is an example of what cooperation means between public authorities and how important also European funds are. At the same time, it is also true that we, as a port, we are not a cruise port like other ports, like Dubrovnik, for instance. So our attention is also focused on the normal tourists in the city of Trieste. The city of Trieste is not Venice, of course, it's not Dubrovnik. So the main point of rebranding could be to focus more on the local attractions, some local attractions which are gems that are not widely known to the overall public. So strong cooperation among policymakers, between policymakers and stakeholders can really help tourism sector grow also in Trieste.
Thank you, Mr. Koci. Mr. Stambuk, Zadar.
Hi, I would like to greet you in my name and also in the name of Adriatic Ports Authority, and so I'm so glad to see all my colleagues and friends. I didn't see almost 1 year. So hello to everybody. So rebranding. So rebranding is really not a topic, main topic in Port of Zadar, but we are also working with on many things. The good thing with this in this Corona time is that we have more time that we had in the past, and we need to use this time for many sustainable projects, for many touristic and projects, and less like we have this Remember project. That will be very good example that we are working with Croatian and Italian, with our Italian and Croatian colleagues on platform and context for virtual museum, and we will give a new added value to our port users. And this is also one of things what we can do in this time. So also regarding other projects, so Guido said a lot of good things. So sustainability and social networking is key in this moment, and we need to be very proactive in this part and use this time for to develop and to make a new value in our port jurisdiction area. So, it's obvious that new normal is not good for cruise industry and generally speaking for all tourism. So we need to give everything what we can to end this pandemic. So I don't know, vaccination, and trying to be proactive on that time, because the bubble things and other things are just a temporary solution, and it's not good for I don't know, to develop it for the future thinking about the cruise industry. So so more or less. This is my opinion, so I
Thank you.
stop with this. So,
Mr. Francesco, as I said earlier, not just rebranding, we are witnessing the synergy of the municipality and unique models of development, green plan, sustainability. That means a lot of communication and coordination as we have before the crisis.
Yeah, as the previous speaker said, we port are not the main player in the touristic field, but we have an important role. We are the gate, and cooperation with municipality and other local institutions is essential in this field. In Ravenna, we are working together with the municipality to increase the quality of services offered to tourists. As Alberto said, within the location project was an European project. We also work with our municipality to plan a low carbon plan for touristic flows, for cruise flows. And our main challenge here is that from next year, from 2022, the number of cruise ships calling the port of Ravenna will increase a lot. Ravenna will become a home port, and this means that also the number of passengers and tourists arriving in the city will increase a lot. So what we are doing, we are working together with the municipality to offer quality services of quality, but also contents of quality. Here in Ravenna, we have 8 UNESCO sites, but we are trying to diversify the offer to tourists. And I think that the Remember project play an important role in helping us in offering new contents. In fact, we are rediscovering the cultural and historical heritage that the port offers us, the port of the Adriatic. And what we are doing together within the Remember project is to create a new virtual contents regarding the historical assets of the port, not only physical but also virtual, so that we can offer to tourists coming to the port also new contents that will be side to side with the traditional attraction of the city of Ravenna. Maybe this can be something new, and this can also help us to preserve this heritage and not to forget them.
Thank you. And we have lack of time, but one quick question. Digitalization and virtualization will change tourism, but the need for travel will not disappear, and it's present. It's growing because of COVID. Everybody wait for the time to say start, and we go somewhere else than we are now. What's your opinion about that? Who will be the first? Mr. Vettorel.
Okay, I fully agree with you. Digitalization is not a substitution of real experience. In our opinion, in the way we are developing our virtual museum here in Ancona, we have a twofold objective. First, to give information, try to attract tourists or local citizens who want to know more about the port. So give you an introduction to what the port is, its history, the traditions inside the port, something that could be discovered. While on the site, we are working on giving added experience to visitors. So in the sites that we have found in the wayfinding analysis that we made, we will provide additional contents, digital contents that can be explored with personal mobiles or other tools, of course, just to give a better customization of the experience of tourists, of the experience of passengers, of people that is curious about the port and the relation between the port of the city. For sure, if we try to see something good from the last year, for sure, for instance, the digitalization of the cultural heritage and the capacity of cultural institutions to propose visits, digital visits, virtual visits to museums, to cultural sites, has opened a new, probably also a new market, or an addition, or an extension of the tourist market. Because now people is more ready, is used also to this kind of experience, to prepare, maybe to dream about a visit in the local territory. So we are focusing on this kind of objectives in our experience in Remember.
Thank you, Mr. Vettorel. Anyone wants to catch up? Or everyone, you agree? So, destination managers, that can be a conclusion, can carefully monitoring and listening to what individual consumer group wants, what is important for them, and how they can respond it. After the COVID-19 crisis, this range of requirement will certainly have a larger dimension than before. That's the conclusion of our short panel, because we are lack of time and we must go on with our schedule. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, we are at the end of our conference, which are combining Italian and Croatian representatives of the ports and the cities, so we can go on with Mr. Pantelis Karapiperis from Igumenica, who was here with us all the time, and he has conclusion remarks for us. Mr. Piperis, are you prepared?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
You can go.
I would like to. Okay. Thank you. First of all, on behalf of the President of the Forum of Adriatic and Ionian Cities, and Mr. Ioannis Lolos, Mayor of the City of Igumenica, and of course, Mrs. Ida Simonella, the General Secretary of the Forum of Adriatic Cities, would like to thank you for the invitation in this really interesting meeting. I have made a presentation and I will share it with you in a few minutes. Can you see it?
Not yet, but in few seconds.
Yes, please.
Now it's here, presentation. Yes.
Okay. The Forum of Adriatic and Ionian Cities is a voluntary organization, a transnational unprofitable association of cities which belong to the territory of the Adriatic and Ionian microregion. It was founded in Ancona in 1999. Originally focused on recovering of common history and cultural roots, analyzing weaknesses and strengths, and identifying common priorities and strategies of the Adriatic and Ionian area, today FIC represents a tool for economic, political, cultural and human cooperation, and it's recognized as one of the key actors of the EUSAIR. Our vision is for the cultural, social and economic cohesion of the Adriatic and Ionian communities, a single voice, a single strategy. The forum brings together 44 local authorities of Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, Greece, Italy, Montenegro, Slovenia, and it is open to those from Serbia and North Macedonia. FIC has strengthened the relations and enhanced cooperation with the Forum of the Adriatic and Ionian Chambers of Commerce and the Association of the Adriatic and Ionian Universities, as well as increased collaboration with the Permanent Secretariat for the Adriatic Ionian Initiative. FIC, together with associations UniAdrian and Forum of Chambers, is recognized as a key actor of the implementation of the strategy, fully supporting it through all its activities and collaborating with the European Commission and the other relevant institutions. The goals of the forum are to evaluate cultural patrimony and historical identity, shared geographical and economic peculiarities amongst people that live in Adriatic and Ionian Basin, contribute to the realization of process of European integration and enlargement, focus on the protection of human rights, support territorial cohesion in the Adriatic and Ionian macroregion, and activate initiatives of cross-border cooperations in the protection of the environment, social, economic, and cultural life. And finally, last but not least, to force relations and exchange between various components of civil society. 2 years ago, we had the great opportunity to organize as by municipality of Ancona, of course, September 2019, the Youth Games in Adriatic and Ionian macroregion. Is everything okay with the presentation? Can you hear me?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay,
Go
okay,
on.
so I can go on. We had the opportunity to organize, City of Municipality of Hong organized the Youth Games. It was an opportunity to deepen to the theme of inclusive sport in the Adriatic Ionian region and to promote cooperation based on the principle sport for all, equal access and equal opportunities, and intercultural dialogue between people of different cultural backgrounds. The main objective was to strengthen the role played by sport in social inclusion and cohesion with Adriatic and Ionian region. And of course, that enhance also the promotion of the cities that participate in the touristic sector. Our aim was also to encourage participation in sport for the increasing benefits of socialization, for the promotion of voluntary activities, the sharing of equal opportunities values, and the improvement of health conditions. In these games, more than 1,000 athletes from 36 cities participated. The sport delegations involved in 13 different sport disciplines from cities and organizations of 12 European Union countries, plus 4 EU potential candidate countries, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Serbia. As we all know, the tourist sector is among the sectors that have been affected most severely by COVID-19. And I will use an expression that Mrs. Cimaglia, I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly, I would like to apologize to her. Pandemic taught us to be closer than even when we are apart. It is something all of us have really understood all this 1.5 years. And as from an optimistic view, we all believe that soon we will leave this situation behind us. Tourism is an essential pillar for the 2030 agenda for sustainable development and one of the most important EUSAIR pillars. Forum of Adriatic and Ionian Cities has participated in EU Macro-Regional Strategic Week, in which the sustainable tourism after COVID-19 was an important topic. During this week, participants from as many as 29 member states of the Forum Macro-Regional discussed also about green and digital transformation of tourism, topics that our participants mentioned before in the round table and of course in the previous discussions. A standardized and common approach is important for opening borders and creating the preconditions for normal movement of people and the recovery of tourism in the European Union. Moreover, for the forum, undertook and undertakes activities related to tourism. Forum of Adriatic and Ionian Cities is one of the partners of the project of ENG Plus that is focused on 3 actions: the sustainable tourism action, the cultural and creative industries action, and the circular economy action. The ENG Plus sustainable tourism action will aim through a common thread and 3 events distributed throughout the project's lifetime to deal with the issue of tourism by looking at the evaluation of crisis due to the COVID-19 in order to provide data, experience, research, training and finding solutions for alternative development, as well as recommendations, including young people from EUSAIR countries as a powerful force in the development of sustainable tourism. We can never forget that our cities are related to the ports. We know very well that all these ports are participating in this meeting are the most important ports in the Adriatic and Ionian basin. As a city of Guido, we have undertook measures trying to re-enhance and to reactivate the tourism in this post-pandemic, pandemic or post-pandemic area. First of all, we trying to, with our sustainable urban mobility plan, we are trying to connect our city with the port, trying to use electric buses, extend the bike roads and the pedestrian roads, so tourists from cruise ships could easily access to the city center and visit the places around it with a historical importance and, of course, enjoying our lovely city. Moreover, the implementation of EU project in cross-border Greece-Albania program help us to enhance the tourism, digitalizing the touristic product of our area and connect it with the touristic product of the cross-border area. The main ways of Egnatia and Ionia Road, which connects the port of Igoumenitsa with the borders with Turkey, and Ionia Road, which connects the city of Igoumenitsa with the city of Athens and all the cities around this highway, motor highway, gave us the opportunity to have more tourists easily accessible our area, and that was a benefit either for the both for the port of Igoumenitsa and both for the touristic attractions, touristic sites of the city of Igoumenitsa. We are in very close cooperation with the Port Authority, and we are also in a very close cooperation with the Touristic Association as City of Igoumenitsa, trying to increase the duration of the touristic season. That's something that was mentioned before from the City of Dubrovnik. Giving this extension to the touristic season will give us the opportunity to have more tourists, because in our area summer keeps from end of March until end of October, beginning of November, end of October mostly. So this extension will give us the advantage to have more tourists, not to be very crowded, and we can keep all the measures and all the protocols, to adopt all the protocols and measures for avoiding the spread of COVID-19. I'm sure that this is something all the cities in our basin, Adriatic Union Basin, are trying to do, and we would like to believe that that will be the last year, and finally next year we can celebrate together the post-pandemic period from COVID-19 and have all these conferences live physically, not online, but most important to get our life back, especially for those who are working in the sector, both for the owners and the employees of this sector. Don't forget that a few days ago in Greece, in the middle of season, the Greek government announced a local lockdown of a most famous island in Greece, Mykonos. Everything is closed after music is closed for 24 hours, and people are not allowed to get crowded. Nobody can stand in this cafe restaurant. This is something we were trying to avoid by extending the touristic period season, as I mentioned before, and we hope that this will be the last summer of this horrible pandemic. Thank you very much again for the invitation, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, Mr. Karapiperis, for your closing words, and this wish that the next year must be a post-COVID year. It's great for conclusion of this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being a part of a conference restarting tourism in our part of Europe as a part of the Interreg project Italy-Croatia, restoring the memory of Adriatic port sites. Thank you for sharing your experience, thoughts, directions, and visions. Wishing you a lot of personal and business satisfaction in meantime. Until a new opportunity, all the best. Greetings from our side. Goodbye.